welcome to Whack-A-Mole Industries, and if you noticed, my beard is missing, and this next footage will have my beard. I have filmed these at 2 separate times. I'm going to combine the information. Anyways, the project is this #1 Mark III Lee Enfield, or SMLE as some people call it, or many people call it, just another name for it. And this happens to be a DP, or drill purpose rifle. Let me explain what that is in my past self. A drill purpose is one that they've drilled a hole right through the receiver and barrel. Now that's not why it's called the drill purpose. It's just a deactivated #1 Mark III to be used for drilling new troops, teaching them how to operate it and all the other things that they're doing with it. Now with that hole through the receiver and chamber, I would say it's probably not safe to reactivate in its current configuration. Another thing they do to deactivate it is they add this metal pin and it goes through the hole and they weld it in place. This pin is a high carbon, really hard steel. It won't deform to punches or anything like that. Anyways, for my project, I need to be able to remove this barrel, and that's why I made a barrel vise. So this barrel vise might have a few applications outside of this application in order to remove semicircular round objects that you need a lot of clamping force on, and you can't put necessarily a normal clamp or a plumber's vise on it. Not a plumber's vise. A plumber wrench, because it'd mar the surface. And in that circumstance, this barrel clamp, or vise, whichever way it's supposed to be called, would probably do you the trick in order to get it off without damaging the surface. Now it does take a little bit of metalworking, so let's get into the project, which is only the first project of probably many to come for this particular item.
Something tells me this pin might need to be replaced.
Well, it's trying to run away from me. I'll clamp it in place now. Probably should have done this from the beginning, but I was thinking, oh, the weight's gonna hold it in place. Haha! No. Now just 3 more to go.
Now it's time to switch to the grinding disc from the cutoff to clean off the surfaces and clean up the cuts and maybe make things a little more square and reduce the chances of sharp edges cutting me, which is always a plus.
So I got these 3 parts cut out that are to make the main structure of this barrel clamp. I need to actually grind a bevel here and here, and then along the sides, because the welder I have is not necessarily rated for a 1/2 inch, so I'm going to be really stretching the capabilities of my welder. But once this is all welded together, I'm actually probably going to tack this piece. I'm still holding it with pliers because it's still hot from cutting it. I'm going to tack that piece to the top before I drill it, and then I'll just grind the welds off when I'm done. So I ground these corners so that there's more space for the weld, and hopefully my weld will be strong enough to hold all of this together. We'll see anyways. I'm going to take this out, weld this, and I'll show you what it looks like afterwards. So I just finished the welds. The metal is still hot, so I'm not touching it, but these welds are done. I'm just going to clean them up with the grinder and get them all set. I tacked the top on with the heat really low, just hoping it's enough just to hold the top on while I drill the holes through. If it isn't, then I'll have to figure out something else. But I think I just did it weak enough that I can just grind the welds and this should pop all apart again. So I have the welds ground, so I'm now ready to drill the holes through this top piece for the bolts. Pilot holes are drilled. I just need to grind the welds to separate these 2 parts. The U-shaped part here and the top of the clamp up here. due to the magic of time travel, I have both pieces of wood already set. I mean, I figured you have enough imagination to figure out how I made those pieces of wood. So now I just need to fit this side on. Okay, it's one of those days. I'm just calling it quits. Multiple things have gone wrong. So the bolt broke off inside of this clamp, and my bandsaw blade broke. So I got the broken bolt out. Yes, it's good. So the next clamp, I already broke the piece of wood I was going to use. We're going to see if it works. I used some really old pine from the 1900s. So it's a really hard pine with tight grain. And I'll see how that holds up. So I'm actually going to do the rubber all the way around this part. There's a flat right here on the Enfield barrel. Put that right up to the flat steel to try to create a solid clamping surface. So I'm just going to start by wrapping this with the rubber. I'm actually using this additional nut as a spacer, as this bolt's a little bit on the long side.
So I tried to break the barrel free from the receiver, but the wood crushed and splintered even though the rubber was in there grabbing the barrel. It wasn't able to create enough clamping force. I think it's time I give up on the wood and try making it all out of metal. This was probably my 5th to 6th attempt and 6th different type of wood. Now that the chunk of metal is cut out, I need to cut a half circle shape into this to go around the underside of the barrel to create the clamping force. Now, if I was going to cut this with an angle grinder, trying to cut that shape, it'd be really difficult and take a lot of extra grinding. To reduce my amount of work grinding, I'm actually going to drill a bunch of holes that interconnect so that I can break that half circle out, if that makes any sense. So I'm punching the holes first so they'll be easier to drill. Now that the first set of holes are drilled, I'm switching out to a larger drill bit so that the holes will interconnect and the piece will break free. Now to grind down the cusps and flatten out the surface finish to create a better clamping surface. So the cusps that come from drilling all those little holes, there's ridges that need to be flattened.
Okay, ooh, that's still hot. That's done. It's not perfectly smooth, but again, I'm going to be putting rubber in it, which will protect the barrel. And hopefully it'll give me enough pressure and enough strength to be able to break the barrel free. So after fighting this for a long time, I did finally get it free. Look at that. So the trick was I took this along with some rubber. It's not the ideal tool. I was able to get enough leverage to break that free, which is exciting. So let's take this receiver off the barrel and see what a drill purpose barrel looks like. In case you ever wondered what the hole drilled through DP rifle looks like in a torn apart rifle, this is what it looks like. Had to end up drilling, grinding the weld on the top, and then pounding the peg out. By the way, contrary to a lot of people's opinions on forums, the receiver and the barrel are not super hard. You can actually scrape them with a hardened piece of tool steel. Here's the DP barrel. You can see the hole drilled through the chamber there. Goes all the way through on both sides. The DP marking is right here. It's a little hard to read, but it's there. Excuse my dirty hands. These are from handling the dirty rifle that I tore apart. This is the contraption barrel clamp that I made. All the components, the bottom part of the clamp, the top part, the insert. I used the shim to give me a little bit of extra spacing to raise up this further, so I'd have a better spacing for the bolts. And then I also wrapped the barrel with the rubber. So that was a project, and I cut out a lot of footage and a lot of things that did not work. So if you go about making this or something like this to put a lot of clamping force on a semicircular object, whether it's a barrel or something else, skip the wood, make yourself a metal insert that fits the item you're working with, and add some rubber. The wood just can't hold up to the pressure that needs to be exerted in order to break something free like this particular item. Now, it does turn out they sell stuff like this too for the particular application. I am aware of that. Thank you for all those who are going to let me know that in the comments. Anyways, you feel free to let me know other things in the comments, or just say hi, or talk back and forth, or I don't know, just say something in the comments. And make sure to hit the thumbs up button, I'd be greatly appreciated, and subscribe to see future possible projects that may be coming involving this particular piece. Especially if they turn out, I will make a video about them in the future. Anyways, I look forward to seeing you guys in future videos. Bye!